With 3 world titles, 41 wins and 65 poles, Ayrton Senna is considered by some fans as the greatest Formula 1 driver of all time. Senna's impact as an open-wheel racing legend is still undeniably felt by drivers and fans alike. Because of his efforts in Formula 1, one aspect of Ayrton Senna's racing career that tends to get swept under the rug was the fact that he made his lone start in the World Sportscar Championship during his rookie season of Formula 1 in 1984. Yup, that's right. In 1984, Senna made his endurance racing debut, and he didn't just do it in any car at any track. Senna had to tackle one of the boldest car and track combinations any racing driver could ever be faced with. Let's take a look back at the past. My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and this is Nurburgring 1984, Ayrton Senna's sports car debut. In 1984, Ayrton Senna was competing in his first full season of Formula 1 for the Tolman Hart team, fresh off a British Formula 3 championship win the year prior. Senna showed off his amazing talent quite early, as he would score points in just his second ever Grand Prix start at the South African Grand Prix. Senna's rookie season would later peak on the streets of Monaco, streets he would go on to dominate later in his career. In torrential rain conditions, Senna wrestled his tollman from 13th on the grid to P2. The young Brazilian had wowed fans all over the world with his amazing performance around the tricky streets in heavy rain, and he would take P2 behind his eventual teammate and fierce rival, Alain Prost, and ahead of another up-and-comer in the racing world, Belgium's Stefan Bellof for Tyrrell. Senna's performance that day had eyes on him from team bosses inside and even outside Formula 1. Enter Team Yost. Team Yost was started in 1978 by Porsche Works driver Reinhold Yost. The team would field Porsches in series such as the World Sportscar Championship and the American Endurance Series IMSA. Anyways, representatives from that team were at the track for Monaco. Portugal's Domingos Piedade was the sporting director for Yost back then. In an interview with Legends magazine, Domingos said he grew close with Senna, helped massively by the fact that they both spoke Portuguese. The opportunity then presented itself following Senna's great race for him to make his debut in sports car racing at that year's running of the Nurburgring 1000 kilometers. It was the year the track's Grand Prix circuit was created as opposed to the previously used Nordschleife, the 20-kilometer track known as the Green Hell. It was a mutual belief between them that by competing in this race, Senna would gain crucial knowledge of the circuit, which would be beneficial to his efforts in Formula 1, as the track would hold the penultimate race of the 1984 Formula 1 World Championship. The deal was done. Senna would be piloting this, the Porsche 956, created by the German outfit in 1982. The 956 stands as one of the most iconic endurance racing cars of all time. By 1984, the car was already a force to be reckoned with, following their total domination of the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1982, where the car led for the entire duration of the race and swept the podium at the end. As a customer team with ties to Porsche thanks to Reinhold, Yost fielded 956s in the championship. As a matter of fact, Yost's 956 would cross the finish line first and take their first ever win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which was just one race before this rounded Nurburgring. Senna would drive the number 7 956 with two teammates that weren't strangers to endurance racing. The first teammate was Henry Pescarolo. Henry was an experienced endurance racer and was no slouch behind the wheel, evident by his impressive trophy cabinet that boasted 4 winning trophies at Le Mans, including that same year in 1984. Pescarolo also had F1 experience, competing in 57 Grand Prix and even scoring a podium for Matra at the 1970 Monaco Grand Prix. In the other car, Stefan Johansson. F1 drivers back in the day were busy people, often competing in multiple disciplines. Stefan was one of those drivers. Having already made some starts in F1, Johansson had competed in both F1 and sports car racing in the early 80s. Senna luckily had a bit of experience in hand entering the race, as he had already competed in and won the Nurburgring Race of Champions, an event that saw racing drivers use spec Mercedes 190Es in an exhibition race to celebrate the track's opening. Senna arrived late for practice laps for the race and only got to bang in a couple laps near the end of the session. Much to everyone's shock, he set faster laps than his teammates who had leagues more experience with the car than he did. The trio would start the race from P9. There was unfortunately no hope of victory early, as the car developed throttle issues. Senna would take over the car as changeable conditions hit the track, and despite the damp track, Senna would brave the condition on slicks. He would survive that stint, and upon fitting the wets, Senna would go on an absolute tear. Piedade said that the team was taken aback by Senna's pace, saying that they had never seen a driver that fast in the wet, not even Stefan Bellof. Yes, the same Stefan Bellof that was P3 for Tyrrell in Monaco and had wowed the endurance racing world with his talent in the Porsche 956. Stefan and his teammate Derek Bell would actually go on to win this very race. Furthermore, Bellof would actually go on to secure the Drivers' Championship in the World Sportscar Championship in 1984, a year before his tragic death. Senna completed his stint and left the track before the race ended to participate in a test with Tolman, as Johansson and Henry managed P8 in the end. Senna was praised by Yost for not only his pace, but his constant communication with the team while he was out of the car as they tried to concoct ways of finding speed. Senna would unfortunately never race in endurance racing again, opting to stick solely to Formula 1. Despite never collaborating again, both Senna and the Yost team would go on to accomplish great things. Senna would go on to become one of the greatest Formula 1 drivers of all time, and Yost would go on to become one of the greatest endurance racing teams of all time, as they went on to dominate the 24 Hours of Le Mans, winning the event an amazing 15 times up to me writing this script. It may be a tale of what if, but in the end, all turned out just fine, no? My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and thanks for watching.